Hello and welcome to the Analog Leftie. My name is Elise. So, it's been a little over a year since I got my first fountain pen, the Pilot Kakuno. And this is the one that has got me started on this whole fountain pen stationery journey. And I think first impressions are super important when trying out anything new. You always want it to be pleasant if you want to keep going. And I think I owe so much to the Pilot Kakuno. Because my first time experience was so pleasant, it opened up my curiosity and opened up so many doors for me into the world of fountain pens. And for a year anniversary, I just think it's fitting to look at a pen today, which I consider as the grown up sibling of the Pilot Kakuno, and that is the Pilot Metropolitan. So the Pilot Metropolitan is also referred to as Pilot MR or middle range in some parts of the world, which I think is fitting since it's just a bit more expensive than the Pilot Kakuno, but still at the sub $50 price range. So I got this pen back in November 2024 when I attended the pen party at the pen counter. I made a little video about that, so check it out if you haven't. I believe it was around 35 Canadian dollars when I got it, and they also had a 20% discount going on during the event, so I got it at an even lower price. So, this is the Pilot Metropolitan in turquoise with a dot accent belly band from their retro pop collection. It was one of the few options they had left when I got it, and I was feeling a little adventurous with the color choice. But it's still a shade of blue, and I love blue. But if this is something that's not your cup of tea, the Pilot Metropolitan is available in several other color options, even understated ones, from their standard animal print and retro pop collection. I got it straight from the counter, and it unfortunately didn't come with a gift box, and it didn't have a ink cartridge with it, but I can live with that. So the Pilot Metropolitan is a cigar-shaped pen with a brass barrel, a resin grip, and stainless steel accents and nib. It has a satisfying snap cap, and on the cap is a discreet Pilot branding, which I appreciate. And I also love how the transition from the cap to the barrel is almost seamless. The clip is also sturdy, and it's not too tight. Let's take a quick look inside of the pen. So when I got this, I didn't know that it came with a converter, and this one is the Pilot Conbi, which we will talk about later. Inside the barrel, you'll see that there is a plastic lining the walls of the barrel, and it's the same with the cap. I'm not sure how clear you can see it on camera, but there is plastic lining in there, and I'm not sure if that helps with keeping the nib from drying out. But the good thing about the plastic lining is that the metal doesn't grate against each other when you post the cap on. So it's a very smooth friction posting, and the metal doesn't grate against each other. The metal body and design is definitely a step up from the Kakuno, but in spirit they are the same because they have the same stainless steel nib, save for the smiley face that's on the Kakuno. It's the same nib, and even the feed is the same. And this is reassuring because the nib is such a smooth and reliable writer for me. It has the same tactile feedback that I've known and loved. Apparently, you can swap out the nibs between the two pens, but personally, I've never tried doing that. The nibs are friction fit and it's something you can't unscrew, so removing it feels quite unnatural and honestly, it scares me. Maybe when I find it super necessary to do so, like if either one of them breaks or if I ever get adventurous or curious. I don't think Pilot sells nibs separately, so I think the only way to fix this nib if it ever breaks is to find another pen that has the same nib. In terms of the handling, it doesn't have the same triangular grip as the Pilot Kakuno, which is fine with me because I have more experience writing with fountain pens now. I'm already a big girl. Anyway, I know that some people have had issues with the step up from the section to the barrel, and I can appreciate that because it really is quite a big step. I'm lucky that my fingers are small enough for that to not be too bothersome for me. However, my grip does change throughout longer sessions of writing, so it can't be helped sometimes that my fingers rest on the edges and I just notice it over time at some point and then I consciously have to adjust my grip. Besides that, I like how it handles. I write with it unposted, and the metal body just gives it enough heft for a comfortable writing experience. My only gripe with this pen is the costly converter that came with it. Since I got it out of the box, it didn't come with an ink cartridge, so I was kind of grateful for the converter so I can use my ink bottles. But let's talk about it. So, the Pilot Conbi is a squeezable rubber converter. So, in that sense, it's super easy to refill. You just press it a few times and the ink gets sucked up in the bladder. And honestly, it's quite entertaining to watch as the bladder expands when taking in the ink. However, because it's not transparent like most converters are, you'll have no idea what your current ink level is or if you even filled it up completely. And that also impacts your cleaning because you can't see the insides of the converter. You won't know if you got the last dregs of ink residue completely. I was cleaning this out the other day and I thought I was done rinsing, and when I shook it downwards a couple of times, some highly saturated droplets of ink came out. The converter also has a small capacity. I think I was just able to fill about 6 pages of an A5 notebook before it ran out. And maybe it's because I just wasn't able to fill it up completely, but that's the thing, I have no way of telling. Lastly, I'm not too sure about its longevity, but with it being rubber, I don't know how much stress it can take from squeezing often, from filling ink and getting cleaned out before a leak opens up in the seams. I hope this is a sturdy rubber that they use. But yeah. The silver lining is all of that is an issue with the converter and not the pen itself. And I have the option to switch to a Pilot Con 40 or just syringe fill an empty Pilot ink cartridge. Overall, I love the Pilot Metropolitan. I might have had some minor issues with it, like the step up from the section to the barrel, but that's just a minor gripe. And the Conbi converter is an issue with the converter and not the pen. So yeah, those are things that I could easily trade off. The most important thing for me about this pen is how well it writes. It's definitely the grown-up sibling of the Pilot Kakuno. You pay just a bit more, but what you get is the elegance and reliability of a Pilot fountain pen. If you also have a Pilot Metropolitan, I'd love to hear your thoughts about it. And if you made it to the end of this video, I appreciate your time and you for being here. Thank you for watching. Thanks for joining me in this journey. Take care, and I'll see you on the next one.